The opening race weekend of the FIA World Touring Car Championship for four-time champion Ivan Muller, for reigning and double world champion Jose Maria Lopez. There are a whole new host of rivals, including aboard Citroëns, the likes of Tom Chilton, Mehdi Bennani, and a new team this season as well. Volvo have arrived with a pair of S60s and have set the fastest time in the only dry running so far. So is that a fortune for them, good fortune for them, a portent of things to come? Or will we see the status quo established with Citroën again, the car that everybody expects to chase? Well, I think it is the car that everybody expects to chase. Whether they will have to or not remains to be seen, because Citroën so far has only topped one unofficial session. That was yesterday in streaming wet conditions. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. Season starts here at the circuit Paul Ricard Le Castellet. Citroën's home ground, of course, and a track where they have plenty of winning experience. Pole and race 1 victory last year for Sebastian Loeb, and the race 2 win went to Jose Maria Lopez on his way to becoming the world champion. But the man who was fastest in the only dry running so far is aboard this bright blue Volvo. Ten Bjerg, teammate Fredrik Ekblom alongside him. Both have got a little bit of experience in the World Touring Car Championship. The Polestar team have as well, but this car is all new for this season, the S60, and they have set the fastest time in the dry second free practice session. Jose Maria Lopez, the reigning world champion, not on top of the time sheets so far officially. He was fastest in the test session yesterday, and that was in very, very wet conditions. But I think perhaps relieved as much as happy, the Volvo team. They found themselves to be among the front runners, and that is exactly where they would have hoped to have been. But until you all come together at the start of the season, it's always very hard to judge what your testing times compared to everybody else's might be. Of course, that was only free practice. It wasn't for points or grid positions, whereas qualifying will be. So again, the battlefield might change. Lada looked to be increasingly competitive. Honda certainly very competitive as well. But what have Citroën got remaining up their sleeves? The defending World Manufacturers Championship holders, Citroën's cars now carry 80 kilos of ballast more than anybody else. Everybody else at the same ballast weight, and will be for the first 3 race weekends until we get our rolling changes starting to happen. Lots to talk about this weekend. Loads of driver and team changes, lots of lineup changes. We will catch up with those as qualifying gets underway here. The first of 3 sessions in Paul Ricard. Cars busy starting to build heat into brakes and tyres, ready for the first tilt in Q1 here at Paul Ricard. We're on board with the man who has set the fastest time of the weekend so far, Ten Bjerg, in the Volvo S60. This brand new car, brand new entry to the championship, came out on top of the time sheets. A time 1:30.06, quicker than any race lap we've ever had in the World Touring Car Championship on this track, including last year's dry summer race. And that lap was set by Jose Maria Lopez. Let's hear from him.
So only one pushing lap and push the inlet.
So that was his engineer saying Lopez will do 1 flying lap and push on the in-lap. That means in the 20 minutes or 17 and a half that remain, they want to give him another tilt on a fresh set of tyres or swap the tyres around. Jose Maria Lopez looked to be having a little bit of brake work going on just at the start of the session. Ivan Muller was out before him. Lopez on now though. Mehdi Bennani fastest first sector. Tom Chilton fastest second sector. Ivan Muller now goes quicker, but so does Grégoire de Mustier, and then Norbert Michelisz. And running off with the yellow mirrors, that's Gabriele Tarquini. Need to speak to Lada and get green for Tarquini on the mirrors. It's traditionally been his identification colour. This is at senior. But it's not, that's corner 1, isn't it? Turn 1 and 2. So this is on the back straight, rise into senior at the end of the Mistral. Gabriele already scotching that lap. He'll have to build up to speed for another one. Mehdi Minani, faster at the moment. Tom Chilton has come straight into the pits at the end of that flying lap and hasn't set a time. Tom Chilton, according to my timing screen, he now has, even though he hasn't, it says pit in and hasn't given him a time. Yvan Muller then, the first man to set a competitive time. He is bettered by Gregoire de Moustier. That won't please Muller much. And then Rob Huff, Thiago Monteiro and Norbert Michelis go through. Michelis still top of the pile, Thiago second, Rob third, Nicky Katzberg fastest of all. He was third quickest in free practice. Tom Coronel goes top of the times, 1:30.2. Race record is 1:31.8, and last year was a hot, sunny, dry race. That was the best that the Citroën could manage last year, so everybody else has moved on over the winter. Here's the Polestar car. This is Ted Bjerg, and the Volvo goes to all by 0.3 of a second. 1:29.934. The qualifying record is 1:29.245. He's 0.7 away, and last year that would have left him in the top 10. And Bjerg is pressing on again. Very, very enthusiastic effort from Ted Bjerg, and well rewarded with a quick time. Tom Coronel second, Nicky Katzberg third, so we've got Royal Motorsport Chevy second, Lada third, Volvo on top. Then Michelis in the Honda fourth, Monteiro in the Honda fifth, Frederick Ekblom in the second Volvo is sixth, and on a better lap, Ekblom. So are Huff and Monteiro. Jose Maria Lopez seventh, but Yvan Muller now moves up to seventh, and now he's pushed down to eighth. Who went quicker there? Not sure. Time's jumping around all over the place. John Philippi yet to set a time. Hugo Vallant, who's now in a Lada, yet to set a time. Mehdi Minani yet to set a time, and he's just left the pit lane. Tom Chilton is in the pits. So are Nicky Katzberg and Norbert Michelis. Gabriele Tarquini did set a time, only enough for 13th place. Well, if you look at where the other Ladas are, Nicky Katzberg fifth. Gabriele certainly needs to find more speed from his car. Here's Rob Huff in the Honda number 12. Thiago Monteiro 18 as ever behind him. Now, has Rob gone for 12 because that's the year in which he won the title? Or was 12 always his favourite number? I have to go back to that. 2012 Rob Huff the champion, so that might be why he's gone for 12 on the car. Ted Bjerg fastest of all. It's a favourite number with Rob in the British Touring Car Championship as well, where he started his tin top career, well, after MTVs that is. So sticking with what he knows, he's 10th place at the moment. So now let's talk about the qualifying format. The fastest 12 cars now go through into Q2, so that would not include Gabriele Tarquini or Tom Chilton or Mehdi Minani or Hugo Vallant or John Philippi. It would finish with Ferenc Fischer, who is currently in 12th. That's the black and Dayglow lime green Zengo Motorsport Honda. Fastest 12 go through, and then at the end of Q2, the fastest 5 go through to Q3, and they will set the first 5 places on the grid for the main race, the second encounter of the weekend. The reverse grid now comes in first, which means the opening race will have the fastest 10 from Q2 reversed, which means if you are 10th in Q2, you go to pole for the opening race of the weekend, and then you get a chance to start from 10th in the main race, the second race of the weekend, and perhaps add to your points tally. So there's a whole different dynamic. Suddenly 10th place has an even greater emphasis than previously it might have done, because you get to get the points potentially in the bag early in the weekend and then add to them. You don't have to try and survive the first race before getting onto pole for the second. So there's a whole new dynamic, and what we might see when we get into Q2 is half the field looking to be 10th or 9th, and the other half looking to be 1st or 2nd. And the question now is, do the teams know enough about what their potential pace really is to be able to make that decision early, or are we seeing them thinking on the fly now and figuring out which end of which grid they're going to try and go for? Nicky Kasberg's just left the pit lane. Mehdi Benani comes across the line. He does improve. In fact, he puts himself into 6th position with a 1:30.6. And both the Volvos in the pit lane. Fredrik Ekblom's just come in. In fact, Kjell Björk has just gone out, the man who is currently fast. And you would think with a 1:29.9, 12th place at the moment, Rennie Munich, 1:31.7, 2 seconds slower. You would think Ted Björk is probably safe for Q2, no matter what else happens. Lap time disallowed for Tom Chilton, which leaves his only flying lap. Still leaves him down in 17th. That was car 3. Lap 3, car 2, not lap 2, car 3, right? I'm reading that wrong. So it's Gabriele Tarquini. So either way, car 2 and car 3 are both in the mire, because Chilton and Tarquini are both, as you can see, outside the top 12. Tarquini 15th, Chilton in 17th, John Philippi in 16th. So John Philippi in the Oscaro Chevrolet, run by Campos Racing. Hot lap coming up for Tom Chilton. Using all the curb on the exit of the final turn. Virage Dupont, and comes across the line to go 5th. That's much better. That should put him in safely. But on the bubble behind him is John Philippi, 12th place for him. Nicky Kasberg, purple 2nd sector, and he goes top. Nicky Kasberg, fastest of all in the Lada, and that means that Gabriele Tarquini needs to find a lap very soon to get himself into Q2. On board with Gabriele Tarquini, green 1st sector, purple 2nd sector, according to my timing screen. And that means that Tarquini, who's currently last, should pop up closer to the top 2 or 3. Nicky Kasberg has just gone fastest, Tarquini 2nd fastest, 4400s behind. So it's Lada 1-2. Did Rob Huff choose the right time to swap drives with Gabriele Tarquini, moving from Lada to Honda, as Tarquini moved in the opposite direction? Tarquini said he was really keen to stay in the World Touring Car Championship, had offers from other championships, but wanted to stay, so moved to Lada.
Yeah, we have a big vibration,
Oh, Huffy with a big vibration. So he'll be coming back into the pits. Might be a slightly misaligned wheel weight, might have picked up some pickup. Might be a braking issue. He will come in, and Rob Huff at the moment only 15th. That is the last thing he needed. What he needed was a quick lap. Kasberg, Tarquini and Björk, the top 3. Lada, Volvo. Yes, you heard that correctly. Montero 4th for Honda, Coronel 5th in the Royal Motorsport Chevrolet, Ekblom 6th for Volvo, Chilton 7th is the best of the Citroens. And the best of the factory Citroens is Yvan Muller in 12th. The world champion is 14th and not making Q2 at the moment. Huff completes the lap in 5th, that's what he needed. Lopez on a flyer, and this will put Lopez right in the frame. Muller is 13th, de Moustier 12th on the bubble, Norby 11th, now leaving the pit lane. Here comes Jose Maria Lopez. Kasberg heads into the pits with the fastest time under his belt, and Lopez goes top. First time in the dry he's been on top of the timing sheets. Was it a clean lap? Looks like it. Not seeing him running out wide. So Lopez is in, Muller is 14th and has just left the pits with 7 minutes remaining. So that's why Lopez did that first flying lap, came in for adjustments, and that's why you heard the engineer telling him to push all 4 wheels off the track. But if that's not one of the areas they're particularly watching, he may well get away with that. Sandro Mariani fresh with new beard. Distinguished look to him, very nautical. Not in the James Robertson Justice look, you understand. There's Norby, fast first sector for him. Needs it as well, he's 12th, Banani 11th, Vaillant in 10th, in the third. Norby with a little over-rotation there at the back of the car. 12th at the moment, and pushing on. This is a good lap, as long as he doesn't squander this one at the end of the lap. He should be comfortably inside. And that will push Banani down to the bottom of the pile. Banani in the pits, Vaillant in the pits, Chilton in the pits. Pretty much everybody is. Fredrik Ekblom back out, and Norby 0.86 away. This could put him as high as 8th place. Might be more like 10th though. Ooh, 10th it is, a second away. So he's in the danger zone. Ugo Vaillant in 11th, Mehdi Banani in 12th, de Moustier's out, Muller is out, Philippi is out, Munich and Fischer have not made the cut either. Rani Munich's come back out of the pit lane, but John Philippi and Ferenc Fischer are both in the pit lane, 15th and 17th at the moment. And watching the Eurodata car of Grégoire de Moustier. Good first sector for him, but not as quick as he has been. 4.8 away. That's the difference. See, Ekblom 0.43 away is currently in 8th. And Ekblom now finding a good second sector. That might help move him up a little as well. And Ekblom stays 8th, but it is a better lap. Yes, a fraction. And Mikulic in 10th place. Not a better lap this time round from Mikulic. And what about de Moustier? Comes to the line and up to 11th. And that means Vaillant is on the bubble and Banani is out. So Banani and Muller are out. Oh, and Ivan Muller goes third. Bang, straight in. First proper flying lap. And that means Vaillant is out and de Moustier in 12th place is on the bubble. And using a lot of runoff there. But bouncing off the beginning of that curb, hit it early and hard. Here's Rani Munich on a flying lap. Trying to get himself into the top 12 to move through to Q2. 3 minutes 50 on the clock. Lopez, Katzberg, Muller. So we've got Citroen, Lada, Citroen. Then Honda, Montero, Volvo, Björk, Lada, Tarquini, Chevrolet, Coronel, Huff in the Honda, Ekblom in the Volvo. I'll get it there eventually. Chilton in the Citroen. Oh, it's horrible this year. Norby at least is in a Honda again, even if it's a different team. Rani Munich using a lot of runoff area, 0.9 away after the first sector. It's not going to be enough, and he drifts out wide there as well. Got in late on the brakes, didn't find the retardation he needed. Not sure that's going to do it for him. Racing this weekend in World and European Touring cars. His main campaign this season will be World Rallycross when there are clashes. And Rani Munich is 0.6 away. Not close enough, I'm afraid. It's not a better lap for him. His fastest is a 31.7, that was a 32.2. Finding the grip he needed at all there. 2 minutes 20, enough time for all of these guys to get in one final lap. So what we have now may bear no relation to what we have in a minute. Ferenc Fischer comes towards us in the grey and lime green Honda. That's the Zengo Motorsport car that lies 17th. Then Mehdi Banani. Best first sector for him. He needs it as well. And the Volvo is going to come out for another tilt. Fredrik Ekblom 9th. Who's going to get in that isn't in? Vaillant could, should. Banani could, should. I think that might be it. Fischer with a better lap. Zengo Motorsport Honda. What about Benani? Benani, 1.2 away, his best effort. He needs to be within a second of pole, or the fastest time if he can, and he is at the moment, and across the line in 7th place. My pictures are behind my timing screen, and so probably behind what you're seeing at home as well. However, everything is changing so fast. Jose Maria Lopez still fastest, and out on track it's about Benani, who's just put in a flyer, and Vallon goes 11th, Chilton in danger in 12th, Mikulic out in 13th. So Norby needs a big one here. It's essentially development of the car he was driving last year. Let's hear what the team had to say to him.
RB now we have to push like a hell.
Okay, so that's Gergely, his engineer. Norby, now we have to push like hell. Well, that's kind of his default setting. Let's see what he can produce here. In the background there, you saw the ladder of Hugo Vallant, who went up to 11th, cruising back in. This is it for Norby. Checkered flag will be out pretty much by the time he gets there, and even if it's not, I'm not sure he'll get a quicker lap out of these tyres. Who else is on a flyer? No one. It's this or nothing. So Ferenc Fischer also on a quick lap. 2 Hungarians chasing a time. Fischer's not going to get there. He's bailed out, and he's not in the way of Mikulic. Checkered flag is out. Norby currently 13th. Will he be in or will he be out? His girlfriend could barely watch. Chilton is 12th, and on the bubble it's Chilton or Mikulic. So either 3 Hondas in or 3 Sebastian Loeb Racing Citroens, and it's Norby's in and Chilton's out. 13th for both races. Demusje 14th for both races. Philippi 15th, Munich 16th, and Fischer 17th. Everybody else goes through. Philippi not on a better lap himself, so this is not going to upset the apple cart, I don't think. It's not been green so far, which would be a personal better lap. Oh, it is 15th, a better lap, but it doesn't change his position. So he does not make it through into Q2, and will be 15th for both races ahead of René Munich. And Ferenc Fischer, the 19-year-old World Championship rookie from Hungary, rounds out qualifying in 17th spot for him. So top 12 go through, and we reset the positions now. You're either in or you're not. 13th on down, those are your positions. Nailed for both races. Ooh. It was very wide and very way outside track limits for Norby, but we're not seeing that the lap has been disallowed. Jose Maria Lopez doing a Norby there, having a bit of a quiet moment of contemplation before we go out for Q2. Lopez on top of the pile by 11 hundredths, 129.345. The qualifying lap record here is 129.245, set last year by Sebastian Loeb. And in considerably more favourable conditions temperature-wise, on a less green track. We may get to that mark, I think, in Q2, though. Tyre warmers come off the Citroën C-Elysée of our world champion, Jose Maria Lopez. But a minute still before the car will be down and on the ground. Ready for the second portion of qualifying. Trying to put his car once more into the top 5 and go through into Q3. Nicky Katsberg will join him in Q2. All 3 Ladas got through. All 3 factory Hondas got through, and 3 of our Citroens got through. The 2 factory cars of Lopez and Muller, first and third, with Katsberg's Lada between them. Both Volvos got through. Ted Björk 5th and Fredrik Ekblom 10th. That's 2 Citroens falling at the first hurdle. Tom Chilton and Grégoire de Bustier not making it through into the top 12. And, a couple of last-gasp efforts to get in. Norbert Michelisz just made it through as the checkered flag came out. Gabriele Tarquini left it a long while before setting a fast lap, but that's sort of the way things always seem to work with Tarquini. I don't think it's by design, but things always seem to happen in his first 15 minutes of qualifying in Q1. So 12 cars head back out on track. Among them, just a single Chevrolet of Tom Coronel. Yeah, just one Chevrolet. So Chilton stayed in his car in case Norby's fast lap was withdrawn because he ran out wide from the final corner, but clearly the race directors decided either not too wide or it's not a corner that they're particularly worried about track limits at. So Tom Chilton is definitely out of Q2 and Norby is definitely in, and he's at the back of the line there as they head out. There is Tom Chilton, Father Graham here this weekend. His brother Max, of course, racing in the IndyCar series this weekend. They're in Phoenix, Arizona. So cold, grey and wet, Paul Ricard, or hot, dry and sunny Phoenix. Oh, he's come to Paul Ricard. Well, I guess he went to Max's first race, so he's coming to Tom's first race as well. And thereafter, it'll be the arm wrestle as usual, because there's bound to be lots of clashes all season long. Which is, well, he hasn't got three sons racing, really, isn't it? He wouldn't know which way to turn now. So there you saw the Polestar Cyan Racing team. The Volvo S60 already this weekend has made a splash, of that there can be little doubt, and clearly the car has got pace and potential. And so far, the little bit of the iceberg that we've seen above the waterline looks to be a pretty accomplished car. The replayer Fredrik Ekblom under braking. Nothing untoward happening here. Just having a weave under braking. Get some heat into the tyres. Ted Björk, fastest in FP2 and the faster of the pair during Q1. On board with Ekblom. Underpin is Coronel. Lopez across the line, fastest first sector. Now Muller goes quicker. Huff third quickest, Montero fourth quickest, Katzberg fifth quickest. Those are all first sector times, but in fact, Montero is only a fraction off Lopez's pace. And so is Bernani, and so is Coronel. First sector for Lopez, a 34.92. Coronel's Chevrolet, which is, I don't know, 12-year-old design now? Not quite, a 34.95. So he's only 300ths off Lopez first sector time. Lopez quicker in the second sector now than Muller. And, they're going to be very close. Muller is 100th ahead on aggregate. Lopez across the line, a 29.263. Muller a 29.43. Muller goes a 29.26. Montero third. Rob Huff fourth at the moment. Both of those in Castrol Hondas. Katzberg goes fourth in the Lada. Bernani goes fourth in his Citroen, and Vaillant in seventh. Coronel third. Wow, Tom getting a nice toe off Ted Björk, who was fourth fastest on that opening lap. Norby fifth quickest. Lopez on a quicker lap again. And Fredrik Ekblom, his first lap leaves him 9th, Rob Huff 10th. It's the reverse pole game. Who's going to be there? Gabriele will be trying for it. He's come back into the pits again. Hugo Vaillant 11th, 36 thousandths away from 10th place. Muller quickest of all. Again, he's gone quicker than Lopez. How many times did that happen in qualifying in 2014 or 2015? Not many. Not enough. Yes, not enough. So Muller, Lopez, Coronel, Björk. That's a good grid lineup. Michelisz, Montero, Bernani, Katzberg. And then Ekblom 9th, Huff 10th. The opening race, as of now, will be Rob Huff pole, Frederick Ekblom outside front row. Gabrielli's doing a bit of data loggery. In comes Katzberg. Yes, it is Katzberg. Huff's also in the pits, but not in a yellow car anymore, remember, a red, white and green one. A Castrol Honda. Thiago Monteiro currently lying 4th, ahead of Ted Björk, so that last lap by Thiago was a good one. On his way back in, he's the only car currently on the track. So he wants to hustle on a little bit. 4 minutes in the session. Time for one more if you're really fast with your pit work. Bit of tyre swappery going on for Lopez. Are the Volvos going to get another one? I don't know. Top 5 at the moment will go through to Q3. So we'll have Muller and Lopez in their Citroens, Coronel in his Chevy, Montero in his Honda, and Björk in his Volvo. Wow. Q3 in their first ever qualifying session with the S60. And Vallant has bailed on this one. He's going to be 11th for both races. Unless Tarquini improves, in which case he'll be 12th for both races. He's walking away from the car. That'll be a mechanical issue, not a driver issue. So we might want to hear from, if Alex can get a message back to us. Ivan Muller's out of the pit, so is Nicky Katzberg, so is Gabriele Tarquini, so is Rob Huff. Now they're all starting to stream out. Number 5 car, Norbert Mikulich. Few Hungarian fans here as ever. The travelling Norby Barmy Army is here. But next time out in the Slovakia ring and the third race weekend at the Hungaro ring, you won't be able to move for orange and black, red and black, and now grey, white and red. Oh, Hugo Vallant very disappointed. It's been such a star in qualifying last year. I'm sure he was really hoping to be in Q3 in his first outing for Lada. Cars on their warm-up lap. Gabriele Tarquini in the Lada with the Honda right behind him of Rob Huff. So these are our job swap pair, aren't they? Huff moving from the yellow car to the red, white and green one, and Tarquini going in the opposite direction. And at the moment, very hard to discern which one might be feeling happier with their lot. Slow-mo of Rob Huff's car, just a touch of understeer there. At low speed, you're going to kind of expect that. Frederick Ekblom is going back out with 1 minute and 25 left. Well, that's pointless. He's not going back out, surely, because he can't get a lap in. So Ekblom at the moment in 9th, doesn't really want to improve. Huff in 10th, has to go out to try and keep himself in the top 10. Tarquini runs out very wide. That lap's not going to count, Gabriele. He's got 1 minute to get to the line. He's not going to do it, is he? So Gabriele is going to be 12th for both races, unless they don't penalise that, which they might not. It might not be in one of those places where it's a penalty. Senior is one of those places where it is a penalty, because you run off so flamboyantly wide if you get it wrong. Tarquini pulling away from Rob Huff. Huff is trying to meter his pace, isn't he, to stay 9th or 10th. And the only one he's got to worry about is Tarquini. So he's got to get in front of Frederick Ekblom, who's parked. And then Ekblom would be 11th and Vallant would be 12th, assuming Tarquini's lap is allowed to count. It's not a great lap from Gabriele. He's nowhere near as quick as he needs to be. What's up with his car? So Vallant's car didn't stay up underneath him. Tarquini's car is not producing the pace. Oh, he's got a personal best second sector, though. Katzberg is 4th for whatever he's in, Lada. It's Muller, Lopez, Coronel, Katzberg and Montero at the moment who are in the top 5. Katzberg has got into Q3 and Björk is out in 6th position. Norby on a purple at the end, doesn't get enough. 7th for Norby, and Tarquini's lap leaves him last. So Rob Huff in 10th place is going into the pits, and the front row for our opening race of the season will have Rob Huff on pole in his first race for Honda, with Fredrik Ekblom's Volvo alongside. Mehdi Benani will be 3rd, Norbert Mikelic 4th, Ted Björk will be 5th for Volvo. 6th will be Nicky Katzberg, well, who knows? Oh, hang on a minute. How come Björk's back in the top 5? He never did get dropped out. I was assuming he would be by a better lap from Tarquini, but he's not. So Ted Björk will be first to go in Q2. So now the team need to know to hurry him in, because they have got to turn him around and get him out fast. They don't want a Qing Hua Ma moment. Muller will be last to go, looking for his 29th career pole. Last year he had 3 pole positions to 7 for Pachito.
So,
well, there's the eyes of a world champion as well, Rob Huff.
The last 2 sets of tyres we did were really loose on the rear. At the end of the braking, turning in, I don't know whether I'm now locking rears or what, but just can't turn. As soon as I turn, it goes to oversteer.
So it's loose, it's over-rotating, but there's Dad Peter. Mum's here as well. Well, let's hear from Gabriele Tarquini.
I made a big mistake on the first corner. I went over the straight. Sorry.
Well, tough for Gabriele Tarquini. And the Lada team with 1 car in the top 5. That's Nicky Katzberg. Well, let's get down to the pit lane, catch up with Alex Legui and Rob Huff.
A fantastic start to the weekend for Honda as Rob Huff takes pole position for our first opening race of the year. What a flying lap that was.
Yeah, it was great. You know, we've been struggling a little bit with the car this weekend, but we've seemed to have ironed out the problems. We did a great lap in Q1 to get through to Q2. Yeah, I think we probably didn't have the speed to do top 5, so, you know, P10 was the goal, and we've achieved it, so happy days.
Yeah, it certainly was. Well done.
So Rob Huff, the DHL pole sitter for the opening race of the Manicure weekend. And it will be the 2nd time that a Volvo has started from the front row in the World Touring Car Championship. Robert Dahlgren started in 2nd place in Oschersleben in Germany in the C3. How long? Nicky Katzberg ready for Lada, the first of 5 drivers to go through into Q3. They go in reverse order of their previous performance, and the pit exit marshals are pushing him back because he's stalled, or he has broken the timing beam before he should have. He's stalled, hasn't he? Pit lane should be open. Well, we had nomination in 100 seconds. Okay, not sure what was going on with that. Pit lane closed for car number 10 a minute ago. So he's missed his window of opportunity, is what they're saying. And Tom Coronel will have to go out because Nicky Katzberg has been stopped from exiting the pit lane. Now, whether this is a timing glitch by the team, not getting him out early enough, whether this is a timing glitch by the pit lane crew, not having a green light there, or whether it's a timing glitch from timing and scoring, you'll have to find out later. Because we're all shrugging at each other, which is appropriate given the country we're in. But Nicky Katzberg, it would appear, is not going out because the light was red when he arrived, and it is the most heinous crime to go through a red light. And whether the light was green before that, I don't know. We don't have a shot. Well, there's a man from Tag Heuer, the timing and scoring people. Green lights on the gantry. What does that mean? Car number 9, which is Tom Coronel. Now it says start at 14:43, which is that 100 seconds after 14:40.21? I don't think it is. Oh, this is starting to turn into a little bit of an after you, Claude. Now, Coronel knows that he's not first out, so he's now deciding to follow Nicky Katzberg because he doesn't know what's going on, and nor do Royal Motorsport. So Tom should be at pit out, waiting for the red light to go green, but doesn't want to do that because nobody is telling him what to do, and he doesn't want to end up with a penalty. Now the red light goes green, and that means it is clear for Tom Coronel to exit. That means Nicky Katzberg will be no worse than 5th on the main race grid and no worse than 6th on the opening race grid. And whether or not they decided to not leave the pit lane. No, because the light was red when he arrived. So the Lada team believed they released him in time. There's Roberto Ravaglia, the 1987 FIA World Touring Car Champion, the man you just saw with a big smile, as his driver, Tom Coronel, heads out on track. The Lada team believe they released Katzberg on time. There is a certain time period that it's going to take him to get to the red light because you can't exceed the pit lane speed limit. So if you think you're a bit late, tough. And there is a certain time that you're not allowed to release the driver before, so he's not clutching up the fast lane of the pit lane. So there is a degree of miscommunication going on, and Nicky Katzberg looking, if such a thing is possible, even less impressed than Hugo Vallant was. So what promised to be a very entertaining qualifying for Lada has become very disappointing. He's just exited the back of the European Touring Car pit lane right below us. So he could actually just pop up the stairs and have a rant on air, but we possibly ought to eschew that. Very valid points just pointed out by Neil Hudson from Touring Car Times is that Nicky Katzberg is actually going to need his car, but also so is Hugo Vallant. And if Vallant's car isn't working for some reason, maybe Katzberg knows that Lada can't go through into Mach 3 with a 3-car entry and he's abandoned the car. But however, the lines of communication may be a little tight, I think, at the moment. I think everybody might be having a bit of a moment. What is absolutely the case, though, is that Tom Coronel is going to try and seize this opportunity with both hands. He's absolutely ragging the car. Purple first sector, well, he is the first man out in Q3, so it would be the best lap so far.
My brake pedal is completely down. What I have to do? I think it was because of the curve, but I'm not sure.
And Tom bails out. Well, he had a big vibration in the brakes in the beginning of FP2, and the brake pedal has gone to the floor somewhere. So was it the chicane? That's what he was waving about. Look, he's pumping with his right foot and there's nothing happening. He's gone for the middle pedal and there's no one home. It's bad enough when you go for the throttle and nothing happens. Okay, so he at least went out. Do we think that probably makes him 4th? Probably. He set a time, yeah, 4 minutes 55. Okay, whatever. However, he's going to be a long way further back than he should be. However, he is getting to the pit lane before Thiago Monteiro comes past, trying to start his flying lap. So, okay, that potential for... Oh, no, Montero's still on the warm-up lap, isn't he? Katzberg is walking past the entrance to the media centre. And Coronel, as you can hear, where do you want me to park? Should he be going to Parc Fermé? Yes, he should, I think. Anyway, never mind. Thiago Monteiro on his warm-up lap. So far, Q3 has produced 2 blanks, one that didn't fire at all in the form of Nicky Katzberg, and one that got halfway round before he ran out of brakes in the form of Tom Coronel. Let's hope it's third time lucky for Thiago Monteiro. Third of our 5 cars in the final part of qualifying. Nice run from turn 1 to 2. Not too much of the exit out of turn 2. And down into the braking area for chicane Nord. The only chicane we're using on the truncated version of the Mistral that we have in this format here at Paul Ricard. Up to Senior, climbing over the brow, turning in flat in 6th, or as flat as he dares, using all the torque. Norby goes down to 5th. Thiago prefers to use the torque and get into 6th for Senior, and then bringing it right back down from 4th on the entry to the Double Droit de Bousset. Into 2nd gear here at Virage de Bondor. Sweeping round the long right-hander, Courbe de Galabin, up to 3rd, and then back down to 2nd place, Virage du Lac. Be up to 4th before braking hard down here into Virage du Lac, and then short shoot and down again into 1st gear for Virage du Pont. Crucial to get not too much curb on the exit, because that upsets the traction. And Thiago Monteiro will finally set a flying lap. 1:29.21. Qualifying record is a 1:29.24. That is the fastest World Touring Car lap at the circuit Paul Ricard. So quicker than poleman Sebastian Loeb managed last year in last year's Citroën. Tom Coronel and Roberto Ravaglia embrace. Tommy will start no worse than 3rd for the main race of the weekend. However, no worse than 4th. However, like the remaining 3 drivers, or the remaining 4 drivers in Q3, they will be in the middle of the pack for our opening race, and that potentially could be accident central, so nothing is guaranteed. Our reigning world champion, Jose Maria Lopez. In 2 full seasons in the World Championship, Lopez has never, even for one day, been headed on points. He has been on pole for the first race of both championships that he's won. Is that going to continue? Or will Ivan Muller, who was quicker in Q2 and in Q1, take that away from him? Lopez has a special draw where he keeps top-notch qualifying laps that he seems to be able to go to almost at will. Didn't get pole here at Le Castellet last year. He was on pole the year before, Neil Hudson. Muller was on pole, so Lopez has never been on pole. So maybe this would be a good place to start getting that particular bogey off his back. Muller is already out on his warm-up lap, and Lopez, as is his wont, really rotating the car hard, sliding it to keep the fronts working. Last couple of corners. A little short run now from Galabin up to the 2nd gear. Left-hander at Virage du Lac, and look at the way the Citroën is diving. The extra 80 kilos really making themselves felt here, even in qualifying trim. 1/4 of a second up. Is that going to be enough to give him pole over his teammate? It'll be enough to put him in front of Thiago Monteiro by 2600ths, a 1:28.950. That now is the qualifying benchmark that Ivan Muller must surpass. And is that one of Jose Maria Lopez's extra special ones that everybody else just looks at and goes, how has he done that? How has he done that with 80 kilos more on board than Thiago Monteiro's Honda? Now the question is, can Ivan Muller, a 4-time world champion, a 28-time pole sitter in his World Touring Car career, better that? Lopez in 2 years has 14 poles, and Ivan in 10 has 28. Here we go. A minute and 30 seconds from now, both men will be likely as not on the front row for our main race, but which one will be starting with the best opportunity to grab the maximum point score? Who will start the championship leading in the points? It will be Lopez or Muller. Neat, tidy. Ivan saying before the season started, the question of course was, can you beat Jose Maria Lopez? And he said, if I am at my best, yes I can. 1900s up, 0.2 of a second in the first technical part of the track. How much tyre has he had to take? How much will he have left? This is the long hang-on senior. Ivan has the advantage, but can he keep it? No! A better run from him in the final corners is required, because he lost 1200s there. This is going to be very close. He is just in front, but will it be Lopez or Muller on pole? It'll be a Citroen 1-2. And Muller is not! Third fastest for Ivan Muller. And that means it is Citroen 1-3. Thiago Monteiro, second fastest. Wow. Ivan from 2600s, from 1900s up, came across the line 3100s back. He lost 4/10 in 2 sectors, nearly 5/10 in 2 sectors. In fact, more. Is it? So Jose Maria Lopez starts as he started the last 2 years.
Congratulations, Ivan is P3.
Wow, Lopez leads the championship. A huge lap. He's still got that drawer full of special pole laps, hasn't he? And he went to it again. So it's Lopez, Monteiro, Muller, Coronel, Katzberg. That is your top 5 for the main race, and Rob Huff will be the first man to start a World Touring Car race from pole position this year, because he will start our opening race from pole. But Jose Maria Lopez is our DHL pole sitter for the main race here in Le Castellet. Another super special lap from Jose Maria Lopez. Jerome Roussel and Marie-Pierre offering their congratulations. Wow, wow, wow. Bravo, Pachito. Lots of support for him as ever. And Lopez does it again. Pole for the opening race for the 3rd consecutive time in his World Touring Car Championship career of 3 seasons. Wow. So Lopez continues as a full-time driver. As I said earlier, he has never been headed in points, and that remains the case. Thiago Monteiro, though, very, very encouraging for the Castrol Honda team. They are still closing the gap to Citroen. The gap, even in qualifying form, even with a superlative Lopez lap, only Lopez could beat Monteiro, Muller couldn't. And that's something very encouraging for Honda. Well, there is Pachito, our pole man. We're going to grab a quick word with him, I think. Alex Legui should be down there. And as you can see from the smile on his face, he should be a very happy bunny. Now, don't forget that we will expect the cars to be refueled, retired and sent out for Mach 3 as well. So the on-track action has yet to finish, but let's hear from our pole man.
It's all smiles down here in Citroën, and rightly so, as our current world champion, Paquito Lopez. That was fantastic. It was very close between you and Ivan, but you managed to pip him at the post at the end. What's it like out there?
It was really tight. For me, it's special because last 2 years here, it was always difficult. Seb was in pole 2 times here. So I say, he's not here, maybe I have a chance. But you know, what can I say? Hat off to Citroën. I mean, 80 kilos in the car, in the front. Even me, I'm really optimistic normally. I just try to see the good things, but I was not expecting this, you know, to arrive with a really heavy car with a very strong competition. The competition has done a great job as well. They are much closer, you can see it, but you know, this car is still fantastic. So congratulations to Citroën first of all. Congratulations to Ivan. Always difficult, so difficult. He just managed to put everything in quality and put me in a big pressure. But without him, I think I wouldn't be here, and I think it's a common thing between us. We push each other, and also I think we help the team. So really happy to have this pole. It's the beginning, but it's nice to start like this.
You're just about to jump in the car for Mach 3. What's your strategy then for this?
Just to try it as hard as I can, just to try to pull the 2 cars back me, you know, the quicker as I can. You know, the lap time, the most important lap time is going to be the 3rd car. So we will see how we get in turn 1. The important thing is just the fastest to make the turn 1 clearly. And
do you have that decision made already? Have you decided who's 1, 2, 3, or is that something you're going to decide off the start line?
No, because you can do a bad start and then everything is different. So yeah, we know we have to try to do the best to optimize these 2 lap times. So no mistake for the guy who's in front, and of course the guys with 3rd, who is the most important here, has to cross the line as quick as he can.
Great start. Well done, Paquito.
It's a great start to the championship for Jose Maria Lopez. He leads the Drivers' Championship with maximum points from Q3. 5 for him, 3 to Ivan Muller. But second in the championship standings, Thiago Monteiro. Second fastest in Q3. He gets to 4 points. So impressive stuff from Jose Maria Lopez. Thiago Monteiro, Rob Huff will be joined by Norbert Mikulich. 3 factory Honda drivers working together in Mach 3. There are your championship standings. Top 5 will be Lopez, Monteiro, Muller, Coronel and Katzberg. Now, it remains to be seen whether we have 3 healthy larders to go out into Mach 3. The pit lane is open for the larders for 45 seconds, and the clock is running on that, 30 seconds. And there is no sign of the larders coming out of their garages. So we will have to see whether the Honda team aren't ready to go immediately. So we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out. Loses. Blustery day at Le Castellet as the teams get ready for this new venture, Mach 3, manufacturers against the clock. Supported by our timing partners Tag Heuer. For manufacturers championship points only. Drivers get points out of qualifying, manufacturers get points out of Mach 3. Let's hear from Lada boss Viktor Shapovalov.
Yep, I'm down here with Viktor Shapovalov, team manager of Lada. Now, this is the very first time that we've done Mach 3 in WTCC. You guys are the first out. What is your strategy?
Strategy, to be honest, even we don't know strategy 100% because this is very unusual exercises. First time everybody will do this. For sure, we put the most experienced driver on outside line of the track. Then Hugo started on inside line, Nicky between. And then we will see what happens. So normally we not practice this, but just in theory, but we'll see.
Normally you haven't practiced this? Surely you've done some practice?
No.
Come on, Victor, that's not true.
No any practice. Now will be first time. So maybe it will be big house, maybe not. So we'll see.
Well, we look forward to seeing what happens. Thank you.
This is definitely a voyage into the unknown for everybody, from the timekeepers and the officials, race director, and especially for the teams and drivers. So out goes the Lada team: Gabriele Tarquini, Niki Katsberg, and Ugo Vallant. Don't have to go out in any particular order. Just the 3 cars that you've nominated to take part in Mach 3 will head out. They will go out on a warm-up lap, and then they will form up 3 abreast, I believe. Although actually gone through exactly the details of this. 3 abreast on the finish line, not the start line, the finish line, because that's where it's going to be measured as a complete lap, because on a lot of tracks, the start line and the finish line are in different places. So there are the marshals, waiting at the finish line, which is also the start line here, but that's not the point. Waiting at the line for the cars to arrive. And then they will be given a 15-second board, and then the red lights will go to green. And when they do, they will charge down into the first corner. And one of them, hopefully, will be in front and will take the line. And the others, hopefully, will manage to wriggle in behind without losing too much time or costing their teammates too much time. And then there will be 2 laps at speed, and the time elapsed between the red lights going green and the final car coming across the line at the end of that period, that is their time for this team time trial. So there you go. If you're a cycling fan, it's pretty much what you might expect if I said team time trial to you. Gabriele Tarquini, yes, that's really what he looks like this year. The beard is an awful lot more noticeable, with young teammates Ugo Vallant and Niki Katsberg. Neil Hudson's alongside me from Touring Car Times. Do Ugo Vallant and Niki Katsberg actually add up in age to one Gabriele Tarquini? Just. Okay, just. Yes. Gabriele is the least youthful. No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. He's the oldest. He's definitely not the least youthful driver in the championship. So here we go. This for everybody now, this is a hit it and hope. This is absolutely a voyage into the unknown. So cars line up on the start-finish line here, or on the finish line, in the nominated position. Time-setting driver, nominally, that should be the guy at the back of the queue, Ugo Vallant. However, we might find that they slipstream and change positions. We might find that Ugo Vallant makes comfortably the best start. And he's on the inside line down to the first corner. But the plan, oh, I don't know, the time-setting driver is the last one across the line. Doesn't matter how fast the front one is, it's only about the last one. So will Gabriele sweep across from the outside? It depends who makes the best start. Okay, so they've had the 15-second board. Lights will come on. And when they go off, here we go, away they go. Gabriele does make the best start. We talked about this. I said, in a front-wheel drive car, it doesn't matter how good your start is, Tarquini is going to outstart you. So Tarquini, Vallant, and in 3rd place, it is Niki Katsberg. So Gabriele will lead off. Now, Gabriele, his job now is to go hell for leather and not make any mistakes. And it's the job of the guys behind to try and go as quickly as they possibly can in his slipstream with his toe and not make any mistakes. And it's the job of Niki Katsberg to be as close to Tarquini as possible of these 3 cars at the end. So the timing now has got a running clock. We'll get sector times at the end of every sector. There you go. Because, of course, this is the first team to go out, there's nothing to compare it against. But when the next team starts their time attack challenge, then we will see comparisons against what the Lada trio have produced. And I might even understand what the graphics mean. So I could write them down, but that would just serve to confuse me more than ever. What will be particularly interesting as the season develops and the drivers get more experience with their cars in some cases, particularly in the case of Lada here and the extra, the 3rd Citroën driver, which will always be a Sebastian Loeb racing driver, is the differences between what they're doing with their cars and what their teammates are doing with their cars, and how the driving style changes very slightly. And drivers will probably pick this up an awful lot more easily. So, the first lap completed, the second lap now underway. First sector was a 41.5 from a standing start for the Lada boys. Now that should go down to a 30 odd, 30 point something or other maybe, as a full flying lap. They get fresh tyres, by the way, a set of tyres to be used for this, which you can then carry over, I believe, into the testing session in the next race, P0. So we're not getting an interval, we're getting a total time, 2 minutes 12.007. Okay, well, whatever. That's what we'll compare it against at the end of sector 1, or sector 4, as it is, because it's a 2-lap sprint. I'm going to have to invent terminology for this as we go along. Answers on a postcard. I haven't got Wi-Fi in the booth, so you can tell me by Twitter later. Come up with some good Mach 3 related terminology. 2 minutes 43.29, and the Hondas now should all have left the pit lane, because as these guys cross the flying finish, and Nicky Katzberg is the one we're watching. It's not how Gabrielli sets the time, it is how Nicky Katzberg sets the time, and the clock is stopped at 3 minutes 7.175. That I am going to write down, 3:07.175. Although my timing screen, and not yours, should remain, so I should get all the sector times. That'd be very good. Okay, so there you go. That's the way it works. We'll now see the other two manufacturers' teams of 3 doing the self-same thing. And as ever, as with Q3, the onus is on the guys who have just completed their shot to get out of the way fast, i.e. to keep the speed up all the way through to the pit lane, because behind them will be coming the guys, well, in Q3, who are actually about to start a hot lap, whereas these guys are on a warm-up lap and heading to the pit lane, to the start line rather. However, what does your eye tell you? What do your eyes tell you? They tell you the same as mine, spots of water on the camera lens. That goes under the heading of unlucky, son, I'm afraid. There is, I don't know, there may be an allowance for a change of weather. I'm thinking there isn't. And actually, that's good, because we need a little bit of something to liven proceedings up, don't we, in the Manufacturers' Championship. So, Lada have had their tilt, and now Honda. Now, the way this works, you would think might be that Huff on the inside is going to be third, and Thiago on the outside is going to try and take the lead. In practice, let's see what happens. 15-second board has been given to the Honda team for their tilt at Mach 3 here at the Circuit Paul Ricard in France. On the outside, as the drivers see it, on the run down to the first corner, Thiago Monteiro. In the centre, Norbert Michelis. Rob Huff should be third in the line. Red lights off and away they go, and Hoffy stalled it. He's got a lot of catching up to do. And if his teammates slow down, that doesn't help. Norby is going to take the lead into turn 1. And now, Norby and Thiago have got to be triply sure not to make a mistake. Was expecting to hear something on the team radio there, but didn't. Should have been a series of bleeps from Rob, perhaps, when the car stalled. That is, it may well be one of the very first times he's done a standing start in the Honda. I don't think they will have spent an awful lot of time testing starts. They will have done some, surely, but not necessarily all the drivers. So, first sector for Lada was a 41.5. First sector for Honda, 43.29. So Rob is 1.6 seconds back. Doesn't matter what Norby and Thiago do. It is about how fast now Rob, on his own, can get round.
Just go. He will still get a tow from that far back. Continue
And that is absolutely right. More than half a second back, you're still going to get a good toe on the straight. And the advantage for Rob is that he's now got a better view of the corners under braking, so he is less likely to make a braking error. Of course, he's going to be trying 100% no matter what. So down the straight, he will get a fractional toe. Better than nothing. So better than them coming back to him.
Push, please.
Which is radio talk for don't slow down and get in my way. It's not about you. And it never was. So he, at the end of the lap, was 1.9 seconds behind the Lada third place man. And the Citroens are about to head out onto track for their run round to the line. So Norbert Michelis, Thiago Monteiro go flying on, and Rob Huff desperately trying to close the margin down. The gap's down to 1.8 after the first sector. Or the fifth sector, first sector of this lap. And as Norby and Thiago press on, so too does Rob, the third of our Hondas. And the gap is out to 2.2. And that means that Lada will be the team that Citroën have to beat to take the maximum points in Mach 3 for the first time it has ever run. And we've seen, yeah, the salient issue for these three cars is getting everything exactly right. 2.4 seconds back. Rob Huff lost ground on that last lap. And that shows that Nicky Katzberg, who was the third of the Ladas, did a good job on the second lap. And Huffy got away, and then the engine just didn't have quite the right mixture of revs and clutch. It rolled. And there, look, watch the Lada boys watching from the pit lane, seeing the Honda stalling and suddenly thinking, oh, hang on a minute, this changes everything. And it's just a heartbeat, isn't it, away from the perfect launch. So now then, pressure is on Mehdi Benani. Really, pressure's on Mehdi Benani, because Lopez and Muller, you have to expect to be the guys who are going to be leading out. But as we heard from Pechito, when Alex was talking to him just after his pole position run, having a plan is one thing, and sticking to it is an entirely different thing. If somebody else gets a better start than the guy that's supposed to lead, then they need to take the initiative, and whoever gets off the line worst needs then to take up the running as the time-setting driver. And does it look like Mehdi Benani? He is. He's going to be on the driver's right, which should mean he is third in the queue, and should mean that he is towing 6 World Championship titles to try and win this Mach 3 for the first time. Three Citroens at the line, the final team to go in Mach 3. 15-second countdown begins. They go for a standing start, 2 laps of this Paul Ricard circuit. Red lights go on, revs rise, clutches at biting point, holding it on the lever, away they go. Good start from Ivan Muller, but there's going to be a race down to the first turn. Looks like Lopez is going to try and take the lead into turn 1 away from Muller. And Mehdi Benani has got to stay out of trouble. Drivers often said when they used to do multi-car qualifying how hard it was in the slipstream with 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 teammates in front of you to pick your braking points, because you rarely have to do that except in a race when you're not quite as extreme on the limit as you might be in qualifying. So Benani doesn't want to be too far back, but he does want to make sure that he doesn't make a mistake and cost himself time. It's not about Lopez now, it's not about Muller, it's about Benani. 4,400s up on the ladder at the end of sector 1. So Bernani making a good fist of this so far. Well over 4 tenths in the bank in the first sector. This is a 2-lap run. On board with Ivan Muller. He'll start our main race here tomorrow in 3rd place on the grid. The main race a lap longer than the opening race as well. So another little wrinkle to contend with, and the gap out from 44 to 5,300s. Bernani putting in a very good run here, using the toe from the 2 C-Elysées in front of him, something that he didn't have the option to do during qualifying itself. And now that we've got Mach 3 appearing, I wonder whether we're going to start to see multi-car qualifying runs again. End of the first of 2 laps, the gap is now down to 3,900s. It was 44, it was 51, it's now down to 3,900s. Big slide from Pechito Lopez in the lead. And for Ivan Muller, a chance at very close quarters to see what it is that Lopez is doing differently with his car, to watch the ballet in front, to try and pick out where Pechito is doing different things. You can see it on the data, but actually seeing the car move with your eyes might give Ivan a little bit of an inkling into something he might try. You could learn from Pechito. The gap is coming down, 3,800s. 2 sectors to go. Viktor Shapovalov and the Lada team watching. And I think Bernani is getting further away from Lopez and Muller. Gap's down to 1/10 of a second. Lada might end up winning this. Bernani's got nothing left. Went too hard, too soon, maybe for the tyre. It's going to be very close at the line. It's all about Bernani. Across the line will go Lopez. Across the line will go Muller. And the winner of the first ever Mach 3 competition by 0.3 of a second is Citroën. Wow, but that came down to nearly nothing. 0.03 of a second. That is an electronic gear shift. That's what that is. Wow. That was as close as you can imagine. You certainly wouldn't be able to spot it to the naked eye. Mehdi Bernani just gives Citroën victory in the first ever Mach 3.
We won the Mach 3 for nearly nothing compared to Lada.
So 10 manufacturers' points for Citroën. They now lead the manufacturers' standings. Lada are in 2nd place with 8 points, and Honda in 3rd place with 6 points. And then you add in the Drivers' Championship points for qualifying, and so that adds to Citroën's advantage.
For me, I was liking it upstairs. 30,000.
Well, there you go. 30,000 of a second, says Gabriele Tarquini. You can see how much the drivers enjoyed that, and the team watching that. That was a real cliffhanger. Honda maybe not so much, didn't enjoy it quite as much, but there you go. Well, only 2 Volvos, of course, this year, so they don't take part in Mach 3. There are 3 Chevrolets, but they are all privately entered cars run by different teams. It's not a manufacturer entry, and Chevrolet not entering the Manufacturers' Championship, so they don't take part either. Bernani, Muller and Lopez win by 30,000s from Tarquini, Vallant and Katzberg. Montero, Michelis and Huff for Honda in 3rd spot. So 10, 8, 6 are the points for the manufacturers. And 5 and 3 is another 8 for Citroën, so they've now got 18. Honda get 4 more for Tiago being in 2nd. Katzberg gets 1. And, I'm a bit lost. We will catch up with the championship points at the end, hopefully. So, Citroën, skin of your teeth stuff there. Cars heading into Parc Fermé. Everybody will be scrutinized after qualifying in Mach 3 to make sure that everything is legal above board and as it should be. However, after the action today, Citroën with the manufacturer's points lead and Jose Maria Lopez with the driver's points lead. Drivers don't get points in Mach 3, and Mehdi Banani was the man on whom all the pressure fell for the Citroën team in this manufacturer's contest, and he managed to squeak across the line 30 thousandths faster than Nicky Katzberg had in the third of the Ladas, and that is the difference. It's not about the first, it's about the last in the queue, and that was as close as you can imagine. Oh, look at that, the reaction from Viktor Shapovalov, the team boss at Lada, and from his boys and from the Citroën boys. Yeah, no kidding. 30 thousandths of a second. The universal hand gesture for, ooh, that was close. That was close. Excellent entertainment. Very good stuff indeed. Good. So first Mach 3 shows the pitfalls. Honda and Rob Huff stalling, not getting away from the line, and shows the potential for entertainment value as well, just how close it came. Nicky Katzberg, the third of the Ladas, almost pulling off a big result. Citroën only just squeezing in front there by 30 thousandths of a second. Well, for the blue cars of the Polestar Cyan Racing Volvo team, a very good qualifying session indeed here. I should think they'll be very happy with that. Both cars firmly inside the top 10. Only just missing out on Q3. Ted Björk just a few hundredths away from 5th place in 6th spot. So, all well and good. Well, with the winning Citroën team is Alex Legui, and here they are.
There we have it. We have our 3 Citroën boys who win the first of our 2016 WTCC Mach 3. Right, boys, talk me through it then. Was that the plan? Did the strategy happen? What happened off the line?
Yeah, okay, it was the plan. Yeah, the order was the plan. Unfortunately, Mehdi lost a little bit of time on the start, but then the order was exactly what we planned.
Mehdi, let me talk to you because the pressure was on for you. You're at the back, you've got a slightly slower car. What was it like around there?
Yeah, for sure. I did some mistake on the start with the procedure of the start, and that's it. I lose some gap, and I try to follow the factory drivers and to be on the time to win.
And how much practice did you guys do before this?
One. One. we did one with Jose and Tom Shilton, and it was okay. It was okay already in Manicure.
And how is it going to be for the rest of the year, Pachito? Are you always going to be at the front of the Mach 3 lineup?
No, that's I think it will decide. This will be the quickest guy maybe out there, because normally the first one has to try to build a gap to pull the other two. So that will depend, but also can happen that this guy does a bad start or he loses too much time. So for sure there is some time plan the things, but you cannot really plan it. You know what you have to do. We know we had to have the team, and he was a bit worried because it was some raining coming. In fact, now it's raining harder, so that put us a little bit under pressure. But we did well with Ivan and for sure Benami, who he did everything, because the timing counts from the last car to pass, and he did it well for us, and we are very proud to have him in the Mach for this time.
All 3 of you, well done, and great result for Citroën Racing.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks to our 3 Citroën drivers as well. So they come out on top of the Tag Heuer Mach 3 opening competition of the season, and that is another hatful of points for Citroën in the championship standings. And Lada boys are very happy with that, and lots of smiles all round, and rightly so. Hugo Vallant didn't get through into Q3, and have to catch up with quite what